good afternoon. This is Pastor Dwayne coming to you from, well, actually we're in Forest Grove right now, but New Life Christian Fellowship is located in Gaston, Oregon. Right now, with everything that's going on, we could be known as the drive-in church, the first and only drive-in church in Gaston, Oregon. But because we are on the radio, 90.1, people can drive in their cars by the church there and receive the message on Sunday morning, and we invite you to come. And we're making it through. All the things are going to change, but right now that's the way we're doing it. But this is Over the Coffee Cup. I've got my cup of coffee here. This is through the week program that we do, and trust it will be a blessing to you. I'm going to begin reading today out of Matthew chapter 4, beginning at verse 18. And Jesus, walking by the Sea of Galilee, saw two brothers, Simon called Peter, Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. And he said unto them, Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. And they straightway left their nets, followed him. And going on a little farther, he saw two more brothers, James, the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, and their father, mending their nets, and he called to them. And they immediately left the ship and their father and followed him. You know, it's interesting. These were professional men. They were professional fishermen. They knew their job well. They were successful from all that we can find out about them. But Jesus came by and he said, Follow me, and I'm going to teach you how to become fishers of men. Now, it always intrigued me. It says, they left immediately. Now, they must have heard about him. There must be something, or else there was something in his voice. Something compelled them to follow him. It doesn't say what it was. And in the fact, and with John and James and John, they left their dad, who was a part of their business apparently. And I think one translation says they pulled the ships, boats, whatever, upon the seashore and left. Now, the Sea of Galilee, I've been on the Sea of Galilee when I had the privilege of visiting Israel, and it's an interesting sea, and it's right in the middle, surrounded by land. And what's interesting about it, the winds will come up and it'll be a storm and all that on it, the sea, because we read about that later on in studying about Jesus. But these guys were professional fishermen, and then when he walked by, he said, Follow me. I just, I have to go back and relate to myself. I had every intention of making a career out of the Air Force. I thought this would be a good career. I got a retirement plan and all that. But one day, in prayer, the Lord began to speak to me, and I left without question that career and went into the ministry. Now that was a big jump for me, because that meant that I had to leave a solid income, and especially when I became a missionary and jumped into missionary work in the backcountry of Alaska, there was no support. There was very minimal amount of money. And so that's the only way I can relate to these guys. He didn't make them a promise. He didn't say, you have the best of everything. None of that seemed to have any bearing upon the fact they begin to follow him. And that's the message that I want to get across to you today. Following Jesus is exciting, that I can tell you. And you don't always know the beginning from the end. But here's what you can be assured of. If he calls you and you walk with him, he will provide for you. Now, let me say this. Don't misunderstand me when I say provide. That doesn't mean that he's going to put you up in a 5-star hotel and have a limo waiting for you every time you need to go somewhere. He said, I will be with you, and I will protect you, and I will help you. Now, there's nothing in Scripture that he said anything of that nature to Peter and Andrew and James and John. But they were compelled to leave it behind and follow him. Wow. They left their nets. They left their boat. And for what reason? To be with him. Now I submit to you, the compelling force that caused them to do this was the same compelling force that caused me to do what I did. That compelling force is my desire to please the Father, and I felt his love, and so I didn't want to disappoint him. And I was blessed and excited to think that I could serve him. Maybe some of the same things that went through their mind. I don't know. But it does say when he walked, now he was just walking, He didn't have anything to entice them. But he said, follow me. And they began to follow him. And if you could interview any one of those men today, I'm sure they would tell you it was exciting. It was exciting because it was those same guys that watched him feed 5,000. It was the same guys that saw him come alive, wake up in the boat. It was the same man that came walking on the water and Peter walked to him. This was the same man. So it had to have been an exciting experience to walk with him. Never were they disappointed. And I want to say this to you. You won't be disappointed if you follow Jesus. He will be with you. He will bless you. He will go before you. And you will be delighted that you chose to leave behind whatever you might leave behind and follow him. Try it. You might like it.